We are going to just jump right on into the review today. I'm John Barry, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 6th episode of the 7th and final season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Today's episode is Deal No Deal. So this episode picks up shortly after the previous episode gone with a Trace. We see more of Ahsoka's adventures with Trace and Trace's sister Rafa. I wrote the name down so I wouldn't forget this time. But anyhow, Trace's sister Rafa comes in and tells Trace that she needs her ship because she got a job and her original pilot decided to back out. And then we eventually later learn as to probably the reason why that pilot backed out. And it has to do with the fact that the job that Rafa got is basically delivering some spice from a Kessel to the headquarters of the Pikes, the headquarters planet. Don't know if it was the actual headquarters. But yeah, you can kind of see why probably the original pilot backed out and why Rafa didn't tell Ahsoka or Trace. So she did tell Trace the location. But yeah, it does show you something. When you are... And this episode does show how Trace and Rafa really don't understand the wider galaxy beyond their corner of Coruscant. Which kind of makes sense. If you take me and you drop me in the middle of Tokyo, yeah, I'd be totally lost and confused. But also, the thing I really want to talk about really is them leaving Coruscant. Because this is the first time really any of them, except for Ahsoka, have been off planet. Ahsoka's, been to a lot of planets. I'm not going to list all of those planets, but we know Ahsoka has been to a number of planets. But Trace and Rafa, yeah, they only know Coruscant. But leaving the planet itself, Trace accidentally gets into a military lane rather than a civilian, and they are contacted by a Republic officer whose voice should be familiar for a couple of reasons. One, the introductory narration of the show, and two, Admiral Yarn. Now that Admiral Yarn actually is the one giving the narration, but it's the same actor. And, so Ahsoka recognizes that Admiral very much. But of course, Ahsoka, even before knowing this, didn't want Trace to answer the hill, probably because she knows that, whoever's on the end probably would recognize her. And two, she just wanted Trace to get out of the lane and hopefully it all goes away. Of course, things don't go to plan. Trace answers the hail and has a conversation. Discover things like, starship licenses and such. And of course, eventually, I think it was Ahsoka eventually does just turn it off and gets them out of, and directs Trace to fly them out of that lane. And then we take a transition to the bridge of the Venator as well. And guess who's on the Venator besides Yarn? Anakin. And this scene that we're going to get reminds me very much of two scenes in particular. Both of them involving Darth Vader. But I did like how they did draw the parallels to these two scenes. One more stronger parallels than the other, like in terms of pacing and all that, but another one as well because of the characters involved. But Admiral Yarn asks General Skywalker if he should send a squad or something out to arrest them before violating regulations and such. But Anakin takes a moment, centers himself in the Force, which is nice to see. He probably should be doing that a bit more. Will probably help his mental health. But anyhow, he centers and is able to sense Ahsoka, and Ahsoka is able to sense Anakin, and Anakin tells Yarn, no, just let them go. And also, just one quick aside before I continue, Yarn's character model has been updated to show that he's aged more and to bring him more in line with not only his appearance in A New Hope, but also his appearance in Star Wars Rebels. And speaking of Rebels, that's where the second scene that this scene reminded me of appeared. And I say second because the other scene is from a movie and I saw it first, but I went to this transition. So, if you remember in an episode of Star Wars Rebels, Ahsoka is on board the Ghost and and Darth Vader's in his TIE advance attacking the Ghost. And Ahsoka and, well, Kanan as well are trying to figure out who this pilot is, so they're reaching out in the Force. And Ahsoka senses Anakin, you know, that fact that Anakin turned to the dark side. And Vader also senses Ahsoka, and if you remember, he says, "The apprentice lives." And then he also breaks off his engagement out of shock, like he wasn't expecting that, and he's been surprised. The second scene that this reminds me of, which I think there's more stronger parallels, because it actually involves the Star Destroyer, and Anakin says to Vader on the Star Destroyer, and the person he's sensing on the other ship that is trying to get by without really drawing that much attention. I'm talking about Return of the Jedi, and when the rebels are sneaking aboard the Church of Tiberium down to the planet Endor. And Vader's on board that ship, and he senses Luke Skywalker, his son. He senses that. And I really did like the parallel, and there's even some parallels as well. The Admiral on deck asks Vader says Anakin if everything is alright, should we, you know, do an inspection or apprehend them or something, and both times he says no, which is actually kind of interesting. This time with Ahsoka in this episode, it's clearly more of he's doing a favor for Ahsoka, you know, kind of the idea of, no, I'll let this side, it's Ahsoka, I trust her, basically. While with Return of the Jedi, that's more of, well, he's following the Emperor's orders. Same, different context, same results, but I really did love that parallel. And there's also framing and scene structural parallels as well between these two scenes, which I think is nice. It foreshadows a little bit, but it's also just good continuity building, like visual continuity. But we should actually move on to other parts of the episode. We can't just spend this entire review breaking down this one scene and how it connects to the wider universe of Star Wars. No, we should talk about what they're doing. One, basically delivering spice, and they go to Kessel. So we get to see, you know, the Kessel Run, kind of, not too much. More like how it appeared at the opening of, not opening, but when they first saw the space lane to Kessel in Solo, which very much visual similarities there, and they get there, and this surprised me. Green, lush vegetation on Kessel, and that surprised me. So my first thought was, wow, maybe Kessel hasn't become as industrialized yet. And no, we still got about maybe 5.5 years to when Solo is set, so that's a decent amount of time for a planet-wide operation that just destroys the planet's environment. That makes sense. And then, of course, we meet the people who rule Kessel and all that. But then they go to where the spice is to be picked up. And there is the Kessel. We know the spice mines, the Kessel are very much what we know. Which I do kind of like that. The rich, the rulers, live in this lush, green, vegetated area, while everyone else is living in the spice mines. And of course, Trace at first thought the workers were droids, but Ahsoka points out that they're people, and Trace speculates a local workforce, and Ahsoka says no slaves. And Trace is like, no, the Republic would have shut that down years ago. And Ahsoka, that large of an operation, Ahsoka basically responds, that's what you would think. And, well, let's be real, because, you know, there was an entire arc of the Clone Wars that dealt with the Zygerians reviving the old Slaver Empire to support the Separatists, and how Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Rex went on a mission to try to shut it down. Small-scale operation, and really, it wasn't, I don't know how sanctioned it was by, like, the Jedi Council and Republic High Command. We don't know. But, so that's obviously what Ahsoka is thinking back to, and that's also the arc where she found out that Anakin was once a slave as well when he was young and was later freed, of course. But that is like something like, yeah, you would think. If you read Master and Apprentice, it's also like there's these wide-scale slave operations going on in the galaxy that the Republic is doing nothing about, and only on limited circumstances does it seem like the Jedi are able to do something, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to complete their actual mission, kind of idea. Though kind of with And there was the Phantom Menace, that was a bit more of a sly thing that Qui-Gon did. But yeah, but it is very much a thing that we have been shown a couple of times that basically outside of the Republic boundaries, the Republic doesn't really enforce its anti-slavery measures, and even in its boundaries, if it's a powerful enough corporation, then they just let it slide. Which, we can really delve into the larger realm of the Star Wars galaxy on this one specific topic, but that line by Ahsoka does show you that things are not, the Republic is not all good as many people would hopefully still, or hope it is, and still think as to a certain extent. But yeah, they pick up the spice and they go to deliver it, and on the way to deliver it, Ahsoka learns that they're delivering to the Pikes, which basically sparks a whole argument. Ahsoka brings up how they're gangsters and how they could take Trace's ship, and that brings Trace into a panic. And while she's basically panicking, like nobody's going to take her ship, or running through her mind, Ahsoka and Rafa are basically arguing about what to do, and in the midst of all this, Trace dumps the spice, which is actually kind of nice to see. We've heard mention of spice being dumped multiple times in Star Wars, including in A New Hope, and now we get to actually see what that looks like, just dumping it into hyperspace. And then both Ahsoka and Ralph are like, yeah, we agree with each other that, yeah, you shouldn't have done that, because at least the spice gave us options. So they develop a plan. Ahsoka actually developed the plan, so they go to the spice, go to the Pikes, give them basically empty containers, and then just kind of bluff their way through. And of course, Ahsoka helps them bluff by using a Jedi mind trick on the Pike leader, for lack of a better term, because I'm not sure what his name is or what his exact position, but clearly a leader among the Pikes. And to convince the Pikes to accept delivery and hand over the credits so they can board the ship and leave. But the major dome of the second in command was not mind trick and decides to inspect the shipment and finds out there's no spice in there, and immediately orders patrol ships to lock onto Chase's ship with a tractor beam, and that's where the episode ends. Now, if Ahsoka had been going to warm up the engines, she might start the engine and such. She might have been able to use a Jedi mind trick on that other Pike to help. But that was very deliberate. And we're also getting closer to that. Ahsoka is starting to feel like maybe eventually she could tell Trace and Rafa that she was a Jedi. She says not yet about a lot of her past, which is kind of interesting. There's a whole lot more we can break down in this episode and look at specifically. But I think I'm going to end out the episode with looking at the little saying at the start of the episode, fortune cookie, the little nugget, whatever you want to call it. In this episode, it was, mistakes are often valuable lessons learned too late. And we see that, I think, a lot, especially with Trace's decision in a panic to dump the spice, which was a mistake because they lost a lot of their bargaining power and options that they did have, and they had to come up with something new. But also this, I think, maybe a bit rough as well. She has basically maybe made a mistake with this deal because she got involved with something that was way above her league, and she kind of maybe learned it too late. Hopefully she learned it. But even this can apply to Ahsoka to a certain extent, maybe more so Ahsoka throughout the Clone Wars as a whole. Like, in many cases she learned her lesson from her mistake at the last possible moment. But also I should mention that this is just a good lesson that, yeah, people often talk about Yoda. Let's bring in a Yoda quote. Failure is often I don't remember the exact words, but basically, failure can be the best teacher. And this is very much along the same line, that mistakes are often valuable lessons learned too late. Because when you make a mistake, you learn something. You learn not to do that again. What's a good example? You crashed your starship. Well, you learn that's not how you fly a starship. Let's go with a Star Wars example. And that is a good lesson. It's very much connected to how failure is a teacher as well. which I really do like that we are connecting to basically other Star Wars characters and lessons and all of that. But there's one more thing that I forgot to mention. I have to mention. Ahsoka talks about the dangers of transporting spice, and one of them is pirates can intercept the cargo. And I literally, when I heard this, thought, okay, they are setting this up. They have to be. My idea was, when I heard that they were going to run into pirates, specifically Hondo. That was what I was expecting. You mention pirates, you have a character who's interacted with a pirate before, like, what better opportunity? Now, I think the way they are going may make a better story, but I saw they were setting up an encounter with pirates, and maybe they still will. It will be a lovely surprise. No, more Hondo is always a good thing in Star Wars animation. But I was kind of expecting him to, pop up with his pirates to intercept the spice shipment. That I honestly was thinking that, or even a Republic, or even a Republic patrol ship too. I was speculating that could be a possibility as well. But I thought the pirates would have been more likely than that. They decided to go with actually having no trouble at all, except for their little argument. But I think what they're doing is actually going to serve the story better. We gotta wait to see how the story turns out in the next episode. So we got another week to wait for that. Overall, I enjoyed this episode. It was very well done. Good writing, good story. I really thought the animation was again on point. And I can't wait to see where the series goes from here. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a like. And also, I would love to hear from you. What did you think of this episode? Is there anything that I didn't touch on that you would like to add? Let me know down in the comment section. Also, be sure to check me out on Twitter or Facebook, links are in the description, and join my Discord server if you are interested as well. Link is also in the description for that. Also, if you would like to help support the channel, besides engaging on my videos, you can financially support the channel via Patreon. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and if you would like, please ring that bell, and it lets YouTube know that you actually want to receive notifications about when I upload content. Also, be sure to check out either the video or the playlist that is on screen now. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.